Idaho murders, woman recalls Bryan Kohberger in allegedly awkward online date, "Why are you touching me?" Illinois Governor Pritzker ripped for threatening sheriffs who vowed not to enforce assault weapons ban. Brian Walsh beat wife Anna Walsh to death, searched, "Can you be charged with murder without body?" Prosecutor. Virginia Democrats force state to adopt California's crackdown on gas cars. Top Florida recruit requests release from letter of intent after massive nil deal falls through, report.
This is breaking news.
I'm Erin Burnett in Washington.
Idaho murders, woman recalls Bryan Kohberger in allegedly awkward online date, "Why are you touching me?" A TikToker says she had an awkward date with Bryan Kohberger 7 years ago after they met on a dating app. A woman on TikTok revealed cringeworthy details about a dating app rendezvous she claims she had with University of Idaho murders suspect Bryan Kohberger years ago. "My interactions with Bryan were very brief," Haley Willett said in a series of videos that shared to the social media platform. "I don't know much about him. My total interactions with him were like 24 hours. We matched on Tinder. We talked for a couple hours, and then he was like, 'Hey, you want to go to the movies with me tonight?' And I was like, 'Sure.' So we went to the movies. That was about 7 years ago," she said, and shortly after the date she ended contact and has since gotten married. She claimed to have gone on a movie date with Kohberger a few hours after she matched with him, and that he subsequently invited himself inside her apartment. It was awkward, although she said she did not feel threatened by him. She claimed she eventually went into the bathroom and pretended to vomit to get him to leave. "He kept trying to touch me, not like, inappropriately, just like trying to tickle me and like, rub my shoulders and stuff," she says. "And I was like, 'Why are you touching me?' Or, 'What are you doing?' And he would just like, get super serious." He denied it, she claimed. "Kind of like trying to gaslight me into thinking that he didn't touch me, which was weird," she said. At that point, she said she pretended to be feeling sick and went into the bathroom, while he waited outside the door. "I proceeded to pretend to throw up to get him to leave," she said. "It wasn't because I was scared of him or like, thought he would hurt me if I asked him to leave, it was just mostly because I'm socially awkward and didn't know how to ask him to leave." After that, he appears to have given up, according to her story. "He ended up messaging me on Tinder that he was going to go, and I was like, 'Awesome, my plan worked,'" she continued. About an hour later, she claims, he texted her, telling her she had good birthing hips. That was the end of their communication, she said. Police arrested Kohberger on December 30, 2022, in connection with the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students whom he allegedly attacked in the early morning hours of November 13. The ambush killed 21-year-olds Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogan and 20-year-old Xana Kernadel and Ethan Chapin. The first 3 lived together in a 6-bedroom rental home just steps away from the University of Idaho campus. Chapin, Kernadel's boyfriend, lived about 200 yards away and was spending the night over. Kohberger, who was studying for a PhD at Washington State University at the time of the crimes, is being held without bail in Latah County, Idaho, on 4 counts of first-degree murder and a charge of burglary with entering the house with the intent to kill. He's due back in court at the end of June, when his defense is expected to challenge the evidence police used to obtain a warrant for his arrest. A surviving housemate, identified in court documents as DM, could be called to the stand to testify. Kohberger had allegedly been stalking the King Road home for weeks, according to a probable. Illinois Governor Pritzker ripped for threatening sheriffs who vowed not to enforce assault weapons ban. Second Amendment advocacy groups tell Fox News Digital the law is unconstitutional. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's assault weapons ban signed into law last Wednesday had gun owners up in arms about the move they claim is a constitutional violation. The Protect Illinois Communities Act effectively bans the manufacture and ownership of high-capacity ammunition magazines as well as firearms deemed as assault weapons and has come under fire from sheriffs across the state who voted not to enforce the policy on the people. "This is an outright assault on our constitutional rights," Val Finnell, National Director of State and Local Affairs for Gun Owners of America, told Fox News Digital. "Sheriffs are constitutional officers. They're elected by the people, and they take an oath, swear an oath to the Constitution of the state and also the United States Constitution to uphold it. If they believe that those laws are unconstitutional, then they're morally obligated not to enforce those laws. We are fully supportive of the sheriffs in Illinois who will not enforce the law," he added. Despite criticism, Pritzker and his allies maintain that the ban will effectively curb gun violence similar to that seen in Chicago's Highland Park suburb last July. He also lambasted the sheriff's protests as political grandstanding at its worst in a statement to Fox News Digital. Critics claim the move strips lawful gun owners of their Second Amendment rights, while others slammed Pritzker for threatening sheriffs who say they refuse to enforce the law on their community's residents. Pritzker doesn't have the authority to fire anyone who is elected, sheriffs included, former blogger Art Goodrich tweeted, adding, "Ever since Pritzker got a taste for authoritarian rule through his unconstitutional executive orders for COVID, he thinks he is the sole arbiter in this state." Ryan Cunningham, campaign manager for former Illinois Attorney General candidate Thomas DeVore, called the ban unconstitutional, but said Pritzker doesn't care. "He seeks to achieve compliance with unlawful laws like his unlawful mandates," he tweeted Sunday. "Our founders were not worried about tyrannical citizens. They were worried about a tyrannical government." "You're a tyrant," he tweeted separately. Representative Mary Miller, Republican Illinois, slammed Pritzker's ban as well, writing that it blatantly violates our Second Amendment rights. Illinois Democrats have fought to release dangerous criminals onto the streets. "Defund the police, and take away your Second Amendment right to defend yourself. The legal battle begins," she wrote. "Chicago is the most dangerous major city in the developed world. Carjackings and murders are out of control. Wealthy neighborhoods of the city employ private armed security teams. But instead of fighting crime, Pritzker and Lightfoot disarm law-abiding citizens." Shameful, author and political commentator Steve Cortez tweeted on January 10. Lars Dahlseid of the National Rifle Association weighed in on Pritzker's assault weapons ban as well, telling Fox News Digital that assault weapons bans will do nothing to reduce violent crime in the state. "An assault weapons ban in Illinois will do nothing to reduce violent crime or enhance public safety, but it will prohibit law-abiding Americans from exercising their rights. AR-15s are the most popular rifle in America and millions use them daily for a variety of lawful purposes. In addition, less than 2% of all crimes are committed with these firearms. It's time for politicians to hold criminals accountable for their actions and leave law-abiding Americans alone. Rest assured, the NRA will fight this unconstitutional ban," he said. Finnell of Gun Owners of America also slammed the law for cracking down on commonly owned guns that have legitimate militia use. "Our founders intended citizens of our country to be able to buy our military-style firearms from the beginning.